Wisconsin's Afternoon News, John and Melissa with you on a Friday afternoon. The good news is smoking rates in the United States have hit a new low. Scott Ballin is a tobacco and public health expert. I spoke to him earlier today. A new survey shows that the percentage of Americans who smoked at least one cigarette in the last week was 16%. That's an all-time low. That's really great news, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good news. We've made a lot of progress, but we've got a long way to go. Look at those numbers slightly differently, we've got 30 million smokers still out there, and the cost to our society and healthcare costs and low productivity is $300 billion. And we got 480,000 deaths a year from cigarette smoking. So the 16% is great. We're making progress. But we need to, I think, as the commissioner of the FDA has said, redouble our efforts to make smoking a thing of the past. And I think that's possible in the next 10 to 15 years.
Scott Ballin is a tobacco and public health expert. So when you talk about those alternatives, you know, vaping, e-cigarettes, alternatives like that, what I think of first is our lungs really weren't meant to consume anything except clean air, right?
Yeah. But we breathe a lot of stuff into our lungs. Pollution, gases from emissions from coal plants.
But not on purpose.
No, not on purpose. And, everybody sort of classifies all cigarettes as e-cigarettes as the same. And that shouldn't be the case either. I think the FDA needs to set up standards for e-cigarette products and hold the companies accountable for what goes into those products and what they can and cannot do. And they're moving in that direction, but it's slow. But it's not just that. There are other products that are already out there. I mean, many people use NRT products, the patches and gums. Those are nicotine-based. They're derived from tobacco. But for a lot of people, that's not a very useful, successful product.
Scott Ballin is with us. Scott, let me tap into your expertise and ask you about those flavors. Lucky Charm, Barney Pebbles, Blueberry Smurf, Juice Box, which looks like a juice box. These appear to many people to clearly not be marketed to adults. Is that problematic?
Well, it is problematic, and this is something the FDA has said it wants to sort out, because I'm somewhere in the middle. The stuff that targets kids needs to go, no question in my view. But we also have to make sure that adults have consumer-acceptable e-cigarettes, and that means making sure that they taste okay. So it's for a lot of people, it's become a very emotional debate. I think we can sort this thing through. I mean,
In a very recent study, the University of North Carolina School of Medicine found that the flavorings used in e-cigarettes might be the most toxic part of the vapor inhaled by users. Some of these flavorings I know are approved by the U.S. FDA, but that's for ingestion, not for being inhaled and in smaller doses. Is this problematic?
Well, it's problematic, except what you're going to find is all e-cigarettes are not the same, and there's different levels of risk. And so you can find as many studies on the opposite side saying there is no showing of toxins that are harmful, and then you've got the other studies. This has to be sorted out, and people need to sit down either through the FDA or through their universities to talk about what kinds of tests should be done on what kinds of products.
So wouldn't the safest alternative be to not use any of this stuff until we know definitively?
Yeah, well, it's like anything in society. We all take risks in our society. We ride motorcycles, but we require people to wear helmets. Cars have certain requirements because in order to provide safety. Our foods are a perfect example. I worked for the Heart Association for many years, and our food products have a lot of stuff in it. A lot of chemicals are put in there. A lot of them have flavorings in there, and we've got to go through this process with tobacco, nicotine, e-cigarettes, and all the other products out there, and come up with some standards and requirements for labeling, marketing restrictions, so that people in this country have a better understanding of what the problem is and how we might resolve it.
That is Scott Ballin.